trying EVP here in the cafeteria. If there is any presence in this room that wishes to make itself be known, please reply by either speaking or moving an object or rapping. Anything at all.
Many years ago, when coming back from our investigation of the Myrtles plantation, an old friend of mine at work had asked me if I'd ever heard of a place called Waverly Hills, which I told him no. Then he began to tell me the story of Waverly Hills, how it was an old tuberculosis sanatorium, and that it even had its own body chute, and that it's been considered one of the most haunted places in the world. This kind of sparked my interest, so I started looking it up, and after asking him if he could get me a connection of if I could go up and see the sanatorium, he started looking through his paperwork and consulted his wife, and they finally came up with the name of the owner for me. So I gave him a call. The owner was friendly enough, and after talking to me after a bit, she explained how the hill actually worked. As far as they had no electric in the building, most of the windows were open, and we had to be careful about trespassers from time to time. This happened back in the days when the biggest show on television was the Ghost Hunters, and she explained that they had just been there like a week or so before and filmed their first episode at Waverly Hills. But she went ahead and booked us, and from that point on, we were very excited to get to the hill. When we first arrived and drove up the long driveway to get to the building itself, I was amazed at how huge this building was. I never expected anything this big to be in the agenda. We arrived around 11 o'clock, just as the last touring groups were fixing to leave for the evening. When we were lugging our equipment into the building, one of the owners walked up to me and said, "Wow, we got some ghost hunters. It's pleased to meet you and welcome to Waverly Hills." He took us on a quick tour through the building and then left us. And I tell you, in a building this size with 5 floors, it's easy to get lost. But we were able to set up our equipment in some of the areas that we thought might be active, and we did find a few things. It was surprising that, not knowing the building and being our first time there in a pitch black atmosphere, that we could find places to set our equipment and maybe get lucky. Waverly Hills is the type of place that can draw you in, and if you're not careful, it can take over your life. Believe me, I do know that from my experience of being there. I was there for about 10 years afterwards when I was asked if I would come up and help with tours, and eventually I was asked to take over the paranormal department up there at Waverly. This building, even though it is a very interesting building, and maybe you're into the ghost and spirits and maybe you're not, but it's also a building that you have to remember that it knows what's going on around itself. So depending on your attitude, if you come up with a negative attitude, you're going to have a negative experience. If you come up with a positive and on-looking attitude, then you may have a good experience. But it knows what you're thinking, and it knows when it's in danger and what it can do. In a place like this, you have to be on the lookout because it can get into your head. It can cause you to do things, say things, even react in ways that you would not actually do normally. I've seen it take over people before. I've seen people come out in a whole different attitude than they went in with. And I've seen people get hurt inside of this building before. So you got to watch what you do, and you got to keep your head straight and narrow while you're inside this building. Because if you don't, it can get inside of you real easily. Sometimes things there can get a little too close. Sometimes they can follow you home. Believe me, I know. I've had that happen to me in the past. When asked my opinion of the Hill, what I think about it today after all the years of being there, my idea is that it's the place of the dead. It's a place that really needs to be left alone. But many people still like going there. But this right here is the story that I'm going to tell you of my experience at the Hill and how it had its effect on me, whether it be in good ways or bad ways. When we first made it up the hill to Waverly, we were astonished at how big the building was. And we really didn't even know what we were looking for when we went there, because we'd heard so many stories that came from the place, such as its infinite shadow people. Shadow people, which we actually call shadow apparitions. They do exist up there at Waverly. They're very faint though, from time to time. And we also knew, being our first time there, as with any haunted location, when you go in, sometimes it takes time for the location to get used to you before it'll start revealing what's going on in the background. So when we first set up, and really not knowing too much of the history of the place, we just picked areas that we thought maybe we can get lucky here and maybe we'll catch something. And we did catch a few things. Here are some of them that we caught on the first trip.
Or how much of a temperature drop is an indication of anything? 32 to 28?
That would be, yeah, you're probably there.
26?
Just looking.
Still here on the 4th floor. I'm going to try to get another EVP print.
If there's any presence in this room or in this hallway that wishes to make itself be known, please do so by either speaking, rapping, or moving an object. Tried one here and tried one down there a minute ago.
You want to go back in the home?
Yeah. Mike, I had this thing picked out. Yeah,
Go back there.
Give her another whirl.
Kevin, Mike.
Okay. Battery run? Yeah, I'm halfway done. Halfway done? Yeah. I've been filming too as we go. Okay. I should have grabbed the other one too.
Check that room.
Yeah, the door just shut down.
Oh, you're kidding me. Door shut. Come on. I need it. Door shut.
I didn't even hear it. You didn't pull over until right here. Just had a bolt on.
Try another electric voice print here on the 4th floor by a door that seems to open and close by itself. There's a slight breeze going. But let's try the print. If there is a presence in this room that wishes to make itself be known, please do so by either speaking, rapping on an object, or moving an object. If that was you that closed the door, can you please reopen the door? Okay, I'm not getting anything. Let's get a picture of the door, we'll open it.
The camera keeps going off.
Try a meter reading there. Okay. Wood? Yeah, it's pegging out.
The door.
Door's
I've
pegging.
gotten a lot of pictures of that door.
Now, be careful because the wind is blowing. The wind could be manipulating that door south.
We're getting high readings on what?
On the door shut halfway, but it didn't completely shut.
Oh, you're kidding. While we were in there?
Yeah, I recorded it.
Oh, did you? You got it on tape?
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Yeah, because it was
How heavy of a
trembling.
door is it?
There's, I mean, this door is...
Is it just like,
It's
yeah,
very, very easily. Any kind of wind can capture that door.
yeah, there just was a major gust of wind just now too.
If I close it where it's just enough area, it may, we'll see, it's gonna go ahead and close on its own. Now, if it slams, it might be because the wind got behind it and got enough momentum, see? I'm not putting too much trust into the door. I think there's, because it's breezy up here enough, I think it. Here we are at the infamous 502 room.
Just there. You get any temperature readings? Put it on up there.
This is actually the original 502 room. It's not the one that's labeled 502 right now. Everybody, I need everybody to be still for a second. If there is any presence within this room that would like to make itself known or to communicate with us, please do so by either speaking, rapping on an object, or moving an object. If you are here, within this room, can you please speak with us? Communicate with us.
Mike, the camera battery completely drained. I can get it to come back on, but it just like completely just started dying.
Well, that's pretty common in,
Yeah, that's what it is.
common in the paranormal events. By the way, we were getting a spike. Usually if something wants to manifest itself, it has to pull power from somewhere. It either has to pull it from the air, that's why you get cold spots. If there are batteries around, it'll pull it from them. It finds its weakest link. It can also pull energy from people too, which hence the fact people usually get headaches, shortness of breath. This is the room that is actually labeled 502. We'll try another EVP in here. If there is a presence within this room that would like to make itself known to us or to communicate, please do so by either speaking, rapping, or moving an object. These last two EVPs have been taken in the original room of 502 and the new 502.
I turn it on and then it'll start beeping and I cannot turn it off. It won't let me turn it off. You have to finally turn it off.
The batteries are dead. Batteries are dead. They're too dead.
Well, it came on by itself.
Yeah, it's trying to recycle us back.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are at the rooftop. Any readings, Stabber?
I think I'm just picking you up like that.
Probably so. See if I move sharply.
Yeah.
If I move. What's the number, Stabber?
181.
181?
I got a good feel about this spot. No. Yeah.
Does this have, where's the battery?
We found that the EVPs seem to be some of the greater part of what happens at Waverly Hills, electronic voice phenomenon. But another thing that we found was a lot of people were confused when we kept asking about the spirits of the hill. See, it turns out that a lot of people misjudge what spirits actually mean. Some people refer to them as ghosts. Well, they are two different things. A ghost is something that happened in the past that will replay itself from time to time, but it has no knowledge of anything around it. It's just a vision of the past. Now, spirit can actually speak, if it wishes to you, and can converse with things in the present tense. It's intelligent. And I feel that there was a combination of both that was up at Waverly. And I'll tell you my opinions on that here soon.
Here in the cafeteria. Tommy, you have any readings? Okay. If there is any presence in this room that wishes to make itself be known to us, please reply by either speaking or moving an object or rapping. Anything at all.
Try an EVP on the body chute. It's kind of echoey in here.
My camera's about to die.
Let's see if we come up with anything. If there's any presence in the body chute that would like to make itself known to us, please speak to us now. Okay.
Back up we go.
Towards the end of our first tour of Waverly, I was talking with the owner outside, and he asked me what I thought about the place. I told him I was impressed with it, that I really didn't know what to think about it. We hadn't went over our evidence yet. But he asked me, he said, would you be interested in helping us out up here? And I asked him how that would be. And he said, you know, maybe your group could be kind of based out of here and you could kind of tell us what's going on up here. Maybe through your evidence or what exactly you think about the place. And I told him I would think about it. I was flattered, to say the least. And like I've also said, you got to be careful with getting too close to a place. Now see, Waverly was dragging me in and I didn't even know it. And I ended up staying there for the next 10 years. And a lot of things had happened up there. I've seen a lot of things I wish I never would have seen. But it is an amazing place. It is truly haunted. And with some of the scenes that you'll see in the next episode, you'll see where me and some of the groups of tour guides got together and held our own little ghost hunting clique. And we would go in when the building would be shut down in the winter months and what we found there during that time. So stay tuned, and thank you for visiting with me today. I'll see you on the next story of SIGH.